all know that we must restructure. It's either we restructure or we break. That means they say you don't have to be a prophet to know that one.
I am seeing Yoruba separate, Biafra separate, Arewa separate. Separate. It's coming. It will happen soon. Separate. Separate.
Oh yeah, did you hear that? We just heard what these men of God said. The men of God from the West saying that God showed them that of course Nigeria is going to separate, break according to everybody's cultural values and ideological values so that there will be peace in the land. This is what they said. Did you believe what they said? Did you believe that it was actually God that showed them the separation that of course is going to happen whether we like it or not, for there to be peace in the land? Now let me know your own opinion, if you actually believe them or not, as we listen to everything that everything they said and everything that other people heard in this issue. Thank you as we listen.
That is certain to come. Restructure or break up.
I asked Allah, I said Allah to share Nigeria into four. Allah share Nigeria into four. Let's everybody relax. We don't have any time. We are killing everybody. If Habinda, what happened in Edo State, if it happened in northern Nigeria, it happened that they kill Igbo people or they kill any southerner, the story will be different. The story will be different. You know, Igbo people with propaganda. Small time they say Muslims are killing Christians. It happened that it happened in the north side. I have one of my previous video that I said about that it come happen really. You understand? So we don't want any issue. May Allah, I say God, may God share Nigeria into four parts. May you give your Biafra 5 plot of your land. You carry JJ, go. We don't get issue with you. Niger Delta, you get oil, get resources. May God give you your own creek. Carry your creek, go. JJ, no fight. Yoruba people, Allah don't give you blessing of sea. You have seaport, you have resources. Carry your resources, alhamdulillah. Carry them, JJ, go, without sharing of blood. Very simple. We are deceiving ourselves every time, one Nigerians, but we are not once for our minds. Just take a good look at what happened in Nigeria. It have been that what happened recently in Edo State, it happened in the north side. The story will be different. Even channel television cannot allow to rest. Social media everywhere. But now if it happens with Hausa people, they look like people are taking them like animals. I see some people are doing propaganda, is carrying another bandage pictures, another country pictures are posting and saying that, see, Northern, where are they carrying for AK-47 to go this? You see what happened? You, Northern, you have land. You have land to farm. You have gold. You have oil. We, Northern, we have oil. We have oil as Niger Delta have. So where are we looking? Everybody carries on self KJ and go. Share without blood. We can share the country without blood. It happened during Jonathan. They did it in House of Assembly. They did not succeed. But inshallah now, let's do it by ourselves. Just let's do it generalizing, not sharing of blood. Let's share the country. Everybody will stay peace. Everybody will stay peace. If you are going to Lagos, I know I'm going to another country, I will follow their rules. If they are coming to my side, they know they are going to another country, they follow their side. Everybody is very simple. All is West Africa.
Let's tell ourselves the truth now, at least for once. A lot of people will think I'm speaking like a Biafrano, but no, I want us to reason like analytical human beings. The fact is, the division of Nigeria with all the indications on ground so far is inevitable. The division of Nigeria is inevitable without implementing the regional system of government. Okay, let's look at the indicators. Number one, the fact is, the issue of national insecurity at the moment happens to be majorly a northern problem, right? You quite agree with me on that. And in that regards now, any government of the day, any president at the moment that is not of the northern descent or northern origin that tries to fix that, if he's hoping to come for a second tenure, I bet you he can't succeed in that. You quite agree with me, right? And this is what I mean by that. Okay, in addressing, considering bringing into view now what happened recently in Benue, just the normal issue of farmers herders clashes as they call it, right? Okay, in fixing this kind of situations, now forget about the deployment of military, police, whatever, the president coming to visit. You quite agree with me that that doesn't solve anything and is not going to solve anything. The only thing that will solve that to some certain extent is we having a situation where there is ranches established for herders, right? That is to say, the herders must be in tune with changing times. Because you quite agree with me, there is no developed country you go to in this world today that you'll find a situation where animals wander all around. There is none. You can never find any developed country of that nature. But in so doing now, if the president of the day tries to enforce that, it's going to be rejected by the northerners to some certain extent, evidently clear even in the past, right? Considering the fact that these people are citizens or whatever, they are nomadic in nature, right? That has always been the conversation. They are nomadic in nature, so they move from places to places. And the fact is, I don't know where we're actually getting this. Okay, if you say you are nomadic in nature, how do you expect the government to account for you? Have you ever seen a country where you have citizens being nomadic in nature and the government can account for them and make budget for? So you see, the fact is, the herders must be in tune with changing times, but they are not ready for that, and even the politicians are not ready to have that conversation. Let's look at the issue of dialogue. We need to preach dialogue. We need to be accommodating. There's enough to share, according to Tinubu. But looking at it, you quite agree with me that as far as this life, this nature is concerned now, people have metamorphosized over time, which is the fact that people no more just live because they want to embrace each other in love and peace and harmony. There are two things that guide and regulate the conduct of humanity. One, adequate enforcement of the law. Even in developed countries, that is to say, you know that when you do this, this will happen. You must reap for it. You will go in for it. That makes people behave to some certain extent. Another thing that guides people's conduct is the fact that they must be subordinate and superior, right? That is to say, in anywhere I live for there to be peace, is either they must be, you are the senior, I am the junior. So you know that when you try me, I will finish you, and me that knows that you are more powerful than me, I will not try you. Those are the things that keeps people in check. But if you think that we're going to sit down and be in as much as we desire one Nigeria, we want to preach and we want to be all accommodating, we believe we're stronger together, but it's not the preaching of peace and love or whatever that keeps people together. These two indications are what keeps people together, and you quite agree with me to some certain extent. The two is missing. There is no adequate enforcement of laws. We are under-policed. Even the armed forces is overwhelmed, and a lot of other things. So what will keep people in check? So what we are fighting for at the moment is a situation where who is more powerful? Is it me, the Fulani man? Is it me, the Yoruba man? Is it me, the Igbo man? Or is it me, the Hausa man? The fact is, that must be sorted out. When it's sorted out, now everybody will know his position, and people now will just decide to keep quiet and whatever. Looking at it, when you now introduce our religious extremism in all aspects as well, that is evident in the country. You have a lot of radical Muslims, radical Christians who are not ready to tolerate each other. The only thing that will make us tolerate each other, let's tell ourselves the truth, is the full implementation of the law and the adequate protection of the vulnerable. That is just it. And all these things are missing. So how do you tell me we are not going to divide? And the fact is, looking at it now, Tinubu will not dare go that way, right? Because by the time he tries to introduce that, okay, there must be establishment of ranches to curtail the free movement of the Fulanis, you quite agree with me that he is going to lose a lot of... the fact is, he's already losing at the same time as far as the North is concerned at the moment. And that is what will even bring the division closer in that regards. In the sense that Tinubu doesn't look like somebody that is ready to let go of the fact that this 8 years is his birthright. And at the same time, the Northerners are not ready to give it to him. So when you have a clash of the titans, Abi, that is what I refer to this 2027. Forget about this defection. Clash of the titans is going to definitely give birth to something. With all these indications on ground, my brother, the issue of one Nigeria, we are going to get better, will remain nothing but a delusion, seriously. We're going to talk more in this regards.
What it means is that we are not united. We are still what Chief Obafemi Awolowo once called a piece of geographical expression. Ahmadu Bello once said it was a piece of historical mistake. Because we were cobbled together on 3rd January 2014 by Lord Lugard, the Southern and Northern Confederates, and the Lagos colony, after Nigeria had been given her name by a young British author who wrote in the London Financial Times of 8th January 1897, calling it Nigeria, that Niger area. That is first major problem. In other words, we were cobbled together through the direct and indirect rule system that we were operating, with all of us already enjoying our independence. The Benin Empire, the Oyo Empire, the Kanem-Borno Empire, the ancient Ife. We were already independent, having our own systems of government, and we were happy. Jaja Fopobo Nana Ofichekire, Oba of Baramino Baise of Benin, who beat the British back with bare knuckles, for which he was deported to Calabar, where he lived and died 27 years later. So such people that were already used to their independence and ways of life, to put them together and say they cannot now discuss their future.
Is it the reason for the agitation we see in Nigeria? This idea of lack of nationhood.
In fact, it is the beginning and the end of it. I can assure you that you were talking about 3 problems. I identified that one major problem. If you don't have nationhood and nobody believes in Nigeria as a country, if I ask you, Shehu, where are you from? You won't say I'm in Nigeria. You first quickly mention your village and then your state. Then you are filling a form. After asking you for your name, the next question is place of origin. You put it town, they say local government. You put it, they say state. You put it, then they say religion. You are already being typified. You are already being profiled to know whether what we want here can come to you or not come to you.
But how do we resolve this? Because either we like it, you are an Ozekome.
Yeah.
You have your origin.
Yes.
You are of the Edo origin.
Yes.
And if you want to drill down, you can tell who your forefathers are.
Yeah.
I am an Okimbaloye, and I can also tell who my forefathers are.
Yeah.
But can we take away the fact that we are different tongues? Our tongue is different.
No.
And our presidents who have constituted conferences, at least 2 of the presidents have said, you can have every conversation, but the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable. The former President Goodluck Jonathan said as much. In those kind of conversations, the fear of the disintegration and some people wanting to exit the nation might start, don't you think?
Now, I tell you, Shehu, I am not saying every Nigerian should now be the same person. In fact, I've always argued, and I'm on record to say that of Professor Onigu Otite's 374 ethnic groups in Nigeria, through his demographic survey. He was a great sociologist that speaks over 380 languages. Each of them must have a place and be respected in where he comes from. But when you want to roughing it over others, for example, like former President Buhari calling a whole ethnic group, one of the three largest ethnic groups, the Igbos, Southeast, as a dot in the cycle. What will you call me? A minority within a minority from Ijukwe, near Agenebude, East local government area of Edo State. What are you going to call me? But in America, for example, they first ask you, what's your name? You tell them. They say, where are you from? You will ask you, what do you mean? You mean where I work? Or where I schooled? Or where I live now? Or where I was born? Because each of them would have been different. But they regard themselves as Americans. So they have what to call faith in their country. We do not have faith in our country. How do we do that? And that is why when you go around on a Sunday, tomorrow is Sunday, today is Sunday. If you are go around, you will see different town unions. And where will you see a Nigerian union holding a meeting? So it's like the Bible. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added. If we get it right, because the present foundations are fundamentally damaged, they are damaged. I give you an example, Sean. If you have a house that the walls are cracking, how do you repair the walls? Do you go to the walls, you take a hammer, you begin to chisel it with a chisel, right? Then you get cement, mortar, you call it bricklayer. I say, help me patch this wall. He patches it. In 1 or 2 months' time, more peons, more gullies, more cracks appear on the wall. You have to look for the cause of that wall. You discover that there's a big tree in your compound whose trees have sprouted. They have become so big that they have gone towards the foundation of the house, and it's what is actually threatening it to fall. What do you do to that tree? You don't go to the tree and cut off the branches, because the branches will grow anyway again, and the walls will continue to crack. You go to the tree, to the roots, uproot it. So
you see, when we begin to talk about Nigeria from the year 2060, the first question that a mathematician will want to ask is, one, are we sure there will be Nigeria in the year 2060? In other words, you're talking about something that you are not 100% sure will be there at the time you are talking about it. You see, because before we can begin to discuss Nigeria of 2060, we need to address the problems that we have right now. That if these problems are not solved, then this will be just an academic exercise. Not that I don't enjoy the exercise, I mean, it's very refreshing. But you see, I think on one of the occasions when I was on a long flight from London to Singapore, a journey of about 13 hours or something. After you've eaten and you slept and you woke up and then discover you still have some 7 hours to go, definitely you have time to fool around a little bit. And then I was thinking about Nigeria. And I have these thoughts within myself, which I think I will just share with you. By the time I finish sharing it, you are likely to consider it a joke from a mathematician, because after all, mathematicians can be eccentric at times. I just felt that why can't we have a system of government that is 100% Nigeria, unique to us? For example, we started off with the British system of government. Somewhere along the line, we moved over to the American system of government. Now, just wondering, can't we have a combination of both and see whether it could help us solve a problem? You see, because in mathematics, if you want to solve a problem and you try what we call real analysis and it doesn't work, then you move on to complex analysis and see if that will help you. If that fails, you move on to vector analysis and so on. I believe that probably we might need to look at the problem of Nigeria in a slightly different manner. You see, because some people feel that all our problems will be over if Nigeria should break up. I think that is trying to solve the problem of Nigeria as if it's a simple equation problem. The problems of Nigeria will require quite a bit of simultaneous equations, and some of them are not going to be linear either. Forgive me, I'm talking as a mathematician. So I was thinking, why can't we, for example, have a system of government that will create a kind of what I would call United States of Nigeria? Let me explain. We all know that we must restructure. I mean, it's either we restructure or we break. That means, say, you don't have to be a prophet to know that one. That is certain to come. Restructure or break up. Now, we don't want to break up. I mean, God forbid.
I am seeing Yoruba separate, Biafra separate, Arewa separate. Separate. It's coming.
Oh, yes, we've come to the end of this video. So you watching, what do you think? Do you believe what they said, or don't you believe them? Meanwhile, please, if today is your first time of coming across my video, please do well to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much as you subscribe to my channel. See you in my next update.